The courtroom was silent, filled with the faint hum of whispers that floated like ghosts between the walls. In the back row, a little girl clutched a worn-out teddy bear, her eyes fixed on her father, a single dad, a veteran, and a man who carried a lifetime of battles behind a calm stare. He wasn't here to defend himself today. He was here to stand for something bigger, for dignity, for honor, and for a truth that no one else dared to speak aloud. Before we dive in, my friend, if you believe that heroes walk among us, not the ones in capes, but the ones who carry scars, then hit that like button and subscribe. Because what you're about to hear is not just a story, it's a lesson in courage, sacrifice, and a name that once made even the bravest tremble. It began one cloudy afternoon at a Navy veterans ceremony, a gathering meant to honor service, but one that turned into something far more powerful. Among the crowd stood a man named Jack Hayes, a quiet single father in his 40s. He wore a faded jacket, the kind soldiers wore overseas, and a simple cap. Nothing about him screamed legend. He was just a dad, working 2 jobs, raising his daughter alone, trying to make ends meet. Most saw him and smiled politely. Few ever asked about his past. He didn't talk about it. He didn't need to. At the front of the stage, the guest of honor, Admiral Lawrence Steele, a decorated Navy SEAL commander, took the mic. His voice carried the weight of authority, confidence, and command. He joked with old comrades, saluted a few officers, and when his gaze swept across the crowd, it landed on Jack. "You, sailor," the admiral called out with a grin. "You look familiar. What was your call sign?" The room chuckled lightly. Everyone knew this was friendly banter, an admiral teasing a fellow vet. Jack lifted his eyes, quiet but steady. His little girl squeezed his hand. For a second, he thought about brushing it off. But something in him stirred, maybe pride, maybe memory. He stood slowly, squared his shoulders, and said just 2 words. "Iron Ghost." The laughter died instantly. The admiral's smile vanished. His face drained of color, eyes widening like he'd seen an apparition from another life. The microphone crackled, capturing the sudden silence that fell across the room. "Iron Ghost," the admiral whispered, voice trembling. "That can't be." You could hear the air shift, confusion rippling through the audience. Veterans turned their heads, whispering among themselves. Some recognized the name, others didn't, but those who did, knew what it meant. Iron Ghost wasn't just a call sign. It was a legend whispered in Black Ops briefings, a myth soldiers spoke of in hushed tones. The man who never missed. The man who vanished in the field, completing missions others wouldn't dare to try. The admiral stepped down from the stage, his boots echoing on the wooden floor. He walked straight to Jack, eyes scanning his face like trying to recognize the ghost of a memory. "You're him, you saved my unit outside Kandahar," the admiral said softly. "You're the one who held the ridge alone for 4 hours. We thought you were dead." Jack simply nodded. "That was a long time ago, sir." Emotion flickered across the admiral's eyes, respect, disbelief, guilt. "Why didn't you ever come forward? Why live like this, alone, forgotten?" Jack glanced down at his daughter. "Because medals don't raise a child, sir. And ghosts don't need glory." His voice cracked, not from weakness, but from the weight of years carrying burdens in silence. The admiral stood stunned. Around them, the crowd erupted in quiet awe. Some veterans saluted him right there, realizing the quiet man they'd overlooked was one of their own, a hero who walked among them. Unseen. Later that evening, the admiral found Jack sitting by the memorial wall, his daughter asleep beside him, head resting on his shoulder. The admiral sat beside him, removing his cap. "You know, Ghost, you could have been anything, a commander, an instructor, even a hero in the papers. Why walk away?" Jack smiled faintly. "Because I lost enough brothers to know that the fight doesn't end when the war does. My mission changed. Now, it's her." He looked at his daughter, peaceful and safe. "She's my second chance." The admiral nodded, his throat tight. "You know, I once gave an order that nearly cost lives. I've carried that guilt for years. If it weren't for you." Jack interrupted gently, "We all carry ghosts, sir. The trick is not letting them haunt our future." In the days that followed, word spread. Iron Ghost, the man thought lost to history, was alive. Veterans began visiting, offering help, respect, friendship. The admiral personally arranged for Jack to receive overdue honors and benefits long denied. But Jack didn't care about medals or ceremonies. His reward was watching his daughter smile again, knowing her dad wasn't just some tired man working late nights, he was a hero. Months later, Jack was invited to speak at a youth program for children of veterans. Nervous at first, he stood before the crowd, not as Iron Ghost, but as a father. "You don't have to wear a uniform to serve," he said softly. "Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do, is choose to live. To love. To raise the next generation better than the one before." Tears filled the eyes of many parents in the crowd. Because they knew, heroism isn't loud. Sometimes, it's quiet. It's in bedtime stories, lunchbox notes, and a father's hand holding his daughters when the world feels heavy. As the applause filled the hall, the Admiral stood at the back, saluting the man who once saved his life. This time, it wasn't about rank or glory. It was about honor, the kind that lives in the heart, not on the chest. And as the lights dimmed, Jack looked down at his daughter, who whispered, "Daddy, they said you're a hero." He smiled, brushing her hair back. "No, sweetheart. The heroes are the ones who never give up."